All right, everyone, we are live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. Reporting live here from the Thalmor Embassy, I suppose. I just like this getup. I really like this shirt with this coat, and what can I say? It's just exactly my bag. We'll be talking about all sorts of crazy shit today, but first we're going to make sure, not that we're live on Rumble, because it will go live. I'm not concerned about that. They're having some sort of issue, I believe, with the chat box. And I'm trying to figure it out because I'm tired of having to push this other tab so far to the side. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work. Rumble's chat box no longer appears to be capable of going under the video. You can dock chat. That's not what you want to do, I think. Possibly. Yeah, that's not what you want to do. That doesn't do anything. Just a second. We have a technical difficulty. I'll have to reach out to the people at Rumble. It's only being on the side, unfortunately, now. So I have to foreshorten this other one. I'm going to have to email Claudio or one of the others from Rumble about that. But we've got a lot to talk about today. Salon, of course, getting massively owned. You should see the ratio on the live post. I've got the archived link in the description because they may very well take it down due to embarrassment. Go and see the ratio on the live post on that first archived link there and see just how fucking terrible it is. It's like, what is it, a 10-to-1 at this point or something? They've gotten ratioed by multiple replies, as well as on the initial post itself, talking about MAGA and Christian nationalism. We'll be talking about a couple of posts by Desantis and about Desantis and his supporters. And I think that they've just gone off the deep end. They realize that they're not going to win, so now they're just shit posting and trying to get attention. I have a feeling that at least a few of the DeSantis influencers will refuse to support Trump and then hope that he loses so they can say, well, I told you so, I was right. They'd rather get Biden reelected than back Orange Man because they're just pure Lincoln Project style TDS sufferer, pathetic cocks. And we'll be talking also about ABC News complaining about X, aka Twitter. I'm not going to refer to it as X because, I don't know, it's just Twitter to me. I might use their AI program. That looks promising. If anyone can pull it off, it'd be Elon Musk. But I'm not going to use any of the other side services, probably. And various other things that we have to talk about. But first, again, I've got to make sure, at the very least, I have to be able to see chat. And I can see chat now. So thank goodness. 87 Sparker, what games are you playing? Literally nothing, because I don't have time to play any video games at the moment. I am a father with a 7-day work schedule. I'm more interested in just cooking cool food or something like that. And in the evenings, I'm too tired to game. I'd rather just shitpost on Twitter. Sparky, greetings, fearless leader. Greetings to you too, Sparky. Highleaf 11. If you ever need to defeat someone who says Trump is a Russian agent, ask why Putin did not invade Ukraine when Trump was president. This will piss people who hate Trump off. Actually, their response is very formulaic, which is, well, they didn't invade because Donald Trump was their asset already. It doesn't make any sense, but for some reason, the cognitive dissonance actually leads them to believe that. So unfortunately, trying to correct them is very difficult. Alan Parker sent 10 euros. No comment. Thank you very much. I see that King of Biltong, aka Anton over there, is having fun in chat on Rumble. We also hope to have some mugs in soon. Salon jumped the shark, says Cam. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. They jumped the shark. They jumped the orca at the same time. Salon.com. This is their official handle on Twitter. We're going to read what they posted so that you can laugh at them. MAGA and Christian nationalism, bigger threat to America than Hamas could ever be. Now, first we'll weigh in on the one positive thing about what they're saying here. Hamas isn't a threat to the United States, not domestically, of course. Other than sleeper agents that certainly have poured across Biden's porous Swiss cheese border, they focus themselves in the Levant. So on that token, you could say, I don't know, they're a little bit right. The problem, Christian nationalism, and I say this as a non-Christian, I am anti-religious. I believe organized religion is a literal cancer in the world. I do not believe in Christianity, although I'm interested in some of its mystic tenets. Certain groups within Christendom, I'm very interested in the academic sense. It's fascinating to me. I have no problem with Christianity. That being said, as a fucking pagan, I don't feel any fear of Christian nationalists. There are a handful of Deus Vulturs that want to convert the Western world into a Jesus Christ worshiping only sort of society. That's not the average Christian. Christians, if anything, are arguably too liberal at this point. That's why they are soft before the forces of other groups that are more nationalized. As far as MAGA, well, I am MAGA. The idea of having your own country be prioritized by the people you're paying to prioritize your country, I just don't understand how that can be considered a threat. I'm pretty sure that that's the norm long-term for nation states since they've existed for hundreds of years. And it is. The idea of MAGA is simply this. The U.S. government should represent the U.S. people's interest. Most often, by the way, as a libertarian, I believe that means government getting out of the fucking way and letting us do it ourselves. Where's the threat? That more people will own guns? I mean, if you're a really far left, I suppose that would be threatening because you couldn't even operate a goddamn top break revolver. I can understand that. There would be a Europe-style limit on abortion that doesn't allow people to kill babies, like literal third trimester babies. Well, again, I don't see the threat to society there. That taxes would be constrained to at least some degree, even if it's like a neocon degree, like a first-term Reagan degree. Where is the extremism? This is all that I'm asking people. Can you find any historical reason to believe that MAGA populism is particularly extreme in literally any way? If anything, it's too watered down, and I wish it went further. If anything, it's not extreme enough. There is no such thing, by the way, as extremism. Extremism is you're the person that believes that the earth goes around the sun in a society where the sun is believed to go around the earth. That's what extremism is. That's what conspiracy theories are as well. Extremism and conspiracy theories is you're the person that doesn't believe in sea monsters. You do not believe that the unicorn, spoken of in the Bible, of course, keep in mind the canon, is not galloping around somewhere in the Sahara Desert or in the jungles of near Africa. That's what extremism is. There's no such thing. MAGA and Christian nationalism, bigger threat to America than Hamas. Well, maybe in the sense that a person that is a Christian nationalist is actually domestic and Hamas tends to be operating over there. But Hamas just killed 1,400 people, most of which were civilians, by the way. They're killing more people now. Again, I'll give my standard disclaimer. I'm not Team Israel any more than I am Team Palestine. But to make an equivalency between a group that does behead people, does execute them, et cetera, and anything done, like how many people have been killed in a political manner by MAGA hat wearers over the last few years? Like 12 or something like that. A very small number of people. More people got injured, at least in the shooting involving Steve Scalise and the far leftoid that had a problem with the Republican baseball game than pretty much all of MAGA for the subsequent half decade. I don't feel any threat towards by Christian nationalists, and I say this as someone who's unabashedly anti-Christian in the sense of organized religion. Believe in Jesus? Fine. Go to church? Fine. When you try to step on me with your religion, I have a problem with that. But I don't feel a threat from the handful of people that actually believe that they should step on me. They're not numerous enough, number one. I'm well armed, number two. And they are far less vociferous in their opposition to people like me existing or some of my opinions. Far, far less than the far left. The far left definitely takes the cake when it comes to being violent in both rhetoric and action. I feel much more of a physical threat from commies than I would from any Christian nationalist. And if I had to choose, which neighbors do you want to have? The socialist, progressive, Bernie voters over here, or the fucking literal skinheads over there? I would probably rather have the skinheads, actually. They're beyond the Christian nationalists by far. Rock Sampson 71. You mentioned frozen burritos yesterday, and I wanted to put you onto the best burritos from Ramona brand, the absolute best. but a little pricey, about $20 for a box of 12. That's not bad. I've never heard of it, though. Ramona brand burritos. I'll have to get some. AP1S2K. Pray for me, sticks and clankers, keys. I think you mean please. I don't really pray, but other people can if they wish to. And I don't know what has happened, but I wish you well anyway. Felon leftist. Opinion on Sitch and Adam. Sitch and Adam. Who? I'm not exactly sure. Sunnycat85. Good luck. K2N tomorrow at the Beast of the Southeast Dragon Boat Race. Clank. Dragon boats are pretty cool, admittedly. Bleach Killer 419. Clank Sticks. Will you shout out my ex, John Frost USA? Shout out to John Frost USA. People, I guess, can subscribe if they want to. To Weld Ambassador. Hey, Sticks, can you please show the book called Boobs of Steel by J. Ishiro Finney on Amazon? It's not what you guys think. Please check it out and you will not be disappointed. Okay, Boobs of Steel by J. Ishiro Finney on Amazon. Apparently, it's not what we think, so I have no clue what it's about. Not a banned account. Is the U.S. close to having martial law? No. Sparky, the world won't soon forgive them. Israel's taken such a worldwide PR hit that they'll be lucky if in 75 years an Israeli Defense Force veteran gets a standing ovation from the Canadian Parliament. And that was a funny episode there. TSUA. Hey, Sticks, how do you personally read texts that are more reference material and context than narrative from start to finish, piecemeal, etc.? Clank. I don't know exactly how to answer that. My apologies. Texts that are more reference material and context than narrative. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, you'd have to refine your question. I don't exactly know what you mean. Highleaf 11. If you can do whatever you want to do with the, I think you mean U.S. government, for 24 hours with no one stopping you, what would you do? I would nullify all gun control via constitutional amendment. I would nullify curbs on free speech by publicly traded companies. Ali, by the way, is taking the fore on that issue. I would sit there and brainstorm for at least a couple good hours on the best way to word a constitutional amendment to try to shore up the legal system to prevent the abuse that we're seeing right now. And among other things, I would devolve more power to states and municipalities as well as individuals as well. I would do as much limitation as possible. That's basically all I would do. It wouldn't even take me the full 24 hours. Some of it is very much, it's obvious what you would need to do. Not a banned account. Will Western Europe enact anti-Semitic policies? Some of them probably. Brennan, Anton needs to make biltong charcuterie boards for the holidays. I don't actually know what that is, although I have heard the term before. Ministry of Wrongthink. Doesn't woke being perceived as being hard to define actually help us? The left's tactic when attacking an idea is to redefine the meaning of words. They can't redefine ambiguous words as easily. No, actually, it makes it easier to redefine them because you can wiggle around in an argument. What you want is a hard definition. I do not believe woke is hard to define. In the glib term, I say wokeness is weakness. I've written work on this subject, actually. Corporal Pooh. Any history book recommendations? Literally all of them. It doesn't even matter if it's goddamn woke history. It still talks about historical topics and therefore is still interesting. I've read both plenty of woke and non-woke literature, by the way. Ozzy's Robots, TGIF. How about robot-shaped biltong from Anton? If you guys did a mashup where you had like a biltong robot or something like that, that would probably be, yeah, that would win. That would be a good thing. You should probably do that. It's a crazy idea. It's crazy enough to work. Over on Rumble, we have PN in America. I said DeSantis was a worthless, I can't use that term, a shill from day one, but you came around eventually too. I still do not believe he is a shill. I believe that his campaign is retarded. The people running his campaign are retarded. The influencers that are backing him up, other than those that are paid and it's like, get the money or something like that, are fucking crazy at this point. We'll be talking about that. Don't worry. There are some things that he's done that are praiseworthy. The Martha's Vineyard migrant thing, that was a win. You can't deny it. Drunk and Baked. Morning Sticks. The J's clip tips. The M's clip clits. It's cold as fuck and I need mitts. If you want to super chat on mobile, click the go to live chat button at the top of chat. Clank on. Toldav 54. Happy Friday. Yes, TGIF, absolutely. Some people are claiming that my audio has an issue. Aussie's, I did that one. Dark Gary 92. This week is my last week at my current job. Found a better job that pays better, has better hours, and better benefits. Thanks for always encouraging to improve and be better. Next on my list, health improvement. You can do it, especially when you have a little bit more money. Eat better, etc. Audio sounds like shit. Let me check quickly, everyone. Audio sounds like shit. Why would it be sounding like shit? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Do I sound better to you? Corporal Poon, audio sucks. Put the mic to your face. Alamandorius, hey Sticks, you like sushi, right? Have you ever tried Nipyu? It's piranha sushi. I would love to try it, but I've never even seen it available. Hannah, is biltong like beef jerky? What the hell is it? I guess it's air dried. It's similar to jerky, but it's more flavorful. It's better in every way. The audio is better? Okay, my apologies. For some reason, there are 2 settings for my microphone, and it was using the first one, and I guess there's some fucking problem with that. Alarian Horizon. Pedro Gonzalez has massive TDS. He's insane. Alan Smithy. Can we make zombie biltong? It's already dried. Yeah, you can try. Okay, the audio is better. Turn up the gain on your audio. Testing. It's already in the yellow, so I don't think I should do that. Yeah, it's not even boomer tech. It's just for some reason, every time I fucking plug in a peripheral, there are usually 2 or 3 different settings available. I don't know exactly why. Doc Holiday, $20 for the best commentator on YouTube. Have a wonderful weekend, mister. Thank you very much. With the extra $20, it'll be even better. Now, next news story. Jack Posobiec posting this. Breaking. DeSantis just went on MSNBC. Yes. I seem to recall, by the way, DeSantis fans complaining about Trump going on CNN some months ago. Like he was a traitor for talking to the legacy media, but DeSantis was on MSNBC the other day and suggested Trump should be removed from the primary if he is convicted in any of the cases against him. Now, that's not 100% true. Fact check, mostly true. He's not, well, I mean, he does kind of insinuate it, but he's not explicitly stating he thinks that Trump should be removed from the primaries. What he's saying is that if Donald Trump is found guilty of anything, then he shouldn't be the nominee. Can I please ask the DeSantis fans, in a very cerebral and mature manner here, if I may. Do you believe in the current U.S. justice system under the reign of Joe Biden? Because if you're defending him for saying this, you're effectively saying, well, yeah, absolutely, I believe the justice system. Trump must have done something wrong because a jury convened in a place like D.C. or Manhattan found him guilty of charges that were artificially upgraded, spurious, or complete goddamn horseshit. Well, your guy is supporting that basic notion. And I think that that's a bad idea. I think that Ron DeSantis has gone goddamn batshit. Basically, I mean, he's tipping his hand. What he's expecting is he knows he's not going to win the primaries. What he's expecting is that Donald Trump will end up in a jail cell or house arrest at the Mar-a-Lago. And so he's kicking the can and hoping that he comes in second place so that in a brokered convention sort of framework, he can become the nominee. He would lose, by the way, in a spectacular fashion in the general election. I would probably vote for Joe Biden if such a thing happened. Do you know why? To punish the Republican Party so hard, they outright collapse, allowing the MAGA Republicans to reform the party, sacrificing 4 years in favor of the future. That would be the only thing to do. Punish them so hard they never fully recover. The neocons would be absolutely swept aside. If such a thing happens, I'm warning you, if Donald Trump comes out 30, 40 points ahead, he wins all the states, etc., and they broker convention him, and they keep him out anyway, you have committed suicide as a political entity. There won't be a uniparty anymore because the uniparty wing of the GOP will be completely shit-canned. Every single one of them will be out. All of them completely annihilated. I don't think that they even have fully thought this through. I think part of this is not even evil. It's ineptitude. And part of it really is that they've got this like weird pie in the sky, bizarre approach where they think that it's like, I don't know, 1991 or something like that. People are weird. Aussie's robots. If you ask me, DeSantis handlers, the Bush people primary are anti-populists and woke damaging. MAGA is a win-win for them. Audio is fine, by the way. Thank you. No, I don't think that DeSantis is controlled by the Bushes or any of that stuff. I think that his messaging sucks. That is, the things that he's done, other than like HB 269, I've defended him before, like with Martha's Vineyard. I thought that was great. With his attacks on Disney, I sided with DeSantis over Donald Trump and thought it was a good idea. And in the end, ideologically, if not legally, he fundamentally won. That was not a problem. I have no problem with Ron DeSantis. But the influencers that push him are the most insufferable people on the internet. You're reaching Kamala Harris fan levels of cringe. That's the first problem. And the people running his campaign don't know what they're doing. Number two, if you put him in a general, he loses. I guarantee that. If he were nominee, he'd get fucking crushed. Donald Trump, meanwhile, is being politically persecuted. And this is the second goddamn time that Ron DeSantis has effectively sided with the system over Donald Trump because of his TDS. The first time was when the original indictment happened. Do you remember that? Trump gets indicted. DeSantis waits 3 days to weigh in on it. What does he say? Well, let me make a joke about Donald Trump. I condemn the indictment, but... And it didn't go over too well. That was when he started lagging. That was when he started faltering. He just did it again. The man is not being advised properly. And the sad part is he would have been perfectly viable in the future. He's still, if he dropped now, he'd still be viable for Congress or something like that. But I mean, the decision-making process is just not there. The intelligence required simply does not exist. Sir Link, could Trump pull us out of NATO and the UN? I don't want to be out of NATO. As far as the UN, yeah. And good riddance. I mean, they're not united anyway. Illustrator, free handsome truth thrown in a Florida jail for not for littering, but actually for distributing leaflets with dissident political views. HB 269. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's happened several times now. Aquafan, DeSantis was my House rep and then my governor. He was fantastic with a few mistakes. No one's perfect. But he's now surrounded himself with incompetent people and ruined his political future. That's what's so fucking sucky about him. You had a potentially viable future presidential candidate regardless, and I did not care that he got into the race. I never said, you can look back, I've got the receipts, all the videos are still there. To the DeSantis simps out there, I never criticized him for running. Although I did point out it probably wasn't a great idea. I never sided with the true MAGA, ultra MAGA fans on saying that DeSantis should sit it out simply out of principle. That's not what I said. I said it's a poor idea, and then since then he has proven me right with a systematic miscalculation of the room, a systematic number of gaffes. His Twitter launch, which was novel, I praised the idea, but it didn't go off well. With attacking Trump immediately after being indicted, with his fixation on his height, which they can project all day as a fixation of the Donald Trump MAGA crowd. But really, this is about the fact that your candidate is clearly not 5'11", wears lifts, and feels sensitive about it. When he comes out, by the way, oh God, we'll talk about that too. When he comes out, by the way, with his official campaign page here, the DeSantis War Room, hey, Donald Trump, since you're having trouble finding yours, buy a pair here. It's referring to his balls. Ron DeSantis has a pair. He shows up, and they have Ron DeSantis golf balls. If you had put this out months ago, when DeSantis was at 30 or something, it would have been humorous. I would have chuckled at it. I also would have chuckled at any Trump fan who had a problem with it and thought it was offensive, because this is just the sort of thing that happens within national politics. But now it's just pathetic. You're tied with Nikki Haley in Iowa. You're behind her in New Hampshire and South Carolina. You're the third tier candidate now. You were viable, but you kept making goddamn mistakes. That's what really sucks. Ron DeSantis would have been perfectly fine. If he had focused on like the Martha's Vineyard stunt thing, he would be as popular at least as Trump by now. He would have done well, but he didn't do that. He did a one-off, he did a couple of good things, and then he decided to delve into the same bullshit politics that like Jeb did, or Marco Rubio with the small hands reference, or something like that we discussed briefly the other day as far as trademark law. You're the Marco Rubio of the election cycle. You remember I made that song, Marco Robato. There's a reason why the end refrain is short boy. I mean, come on. It's self-deprecating at some point. Alamandorius. Really think about my sushi comment, the name and the type of fish. I'll have to do that later because I got so many fucking super chats to go through. Let's see. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. Sticks, please shout out my band Gnashing. We're a blackened death metal band. Sounds good. From NOLA. We have a show in Huma at the Intracoastal Club on November 11th with Absalom, Cranial Sledge, and Christworm. Those all sound like good band names to me. Definitely. Especially if you're high on a little bit of the Mary Jane. Haven't been able to do that and listen to black metal in a long time because I can't smoke Mary Jane anymore. Sparky, the election industrial complex is full of infiltrators. It's affected DeSantis, RFK Jr., and Cornel West at least so far this time around. Fuck RFK. Opinionated Junkie, I warned you about DeSantis fanboys. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have a problem with his average fan, but some of them are just goddamn insufferable. And they don't understand political strategy or by for that matter, memeing. They don't understand humor the normal way. They're like doppelgangers of Ron DeSantis. He's a little bit on the derpy side. That wouldn't have mattered under other circumstances. But the circumstances are what they are. You're talking about fucking golf balls and Ron DeSantis having a pair. Then he challenges Trump to a debate again, which clearly isn't going to happen. He says, well, I'll wear a boot on my head if Trump has the balls to show up and debate me. What are you fucking smoking? Isn't marijuana still limited down there in legality in Florida? And what the fuck did you get into? How many bongs do you own? You're a nutcase. And some of the influencers pushing you are far worse. And DeSantis is one of the more intelligent of the people in his own inner circle. He's not Joe Biden. He's not completely out of it. He's not completely apeshit. He should know better. And that's really the disappointment. He should have known better. Go ahead and launch the presidential campaign, but don't react in this particular manner to personal attacks that you know are going to come. You had to have known were going to come. And then hire someone nuts to run your campaign so that you have to fire half of them when your polling drops. It just doesn't make any sense. It's one of the worst run modern campaigns that had legs and decided to chop its own legs off. It's like self-amputation watching him running. The bonus holes. Raccoons got a lot of nerve, got home from work a little bit ago, and this motherfucker had the audacity to growl at me, a metal vocalist. He and my sleeping neighbors learned my growl is bigger than his. You're lucky that it wasn't rabbit or something, though. Corporal Poon, I've been listening to you for 7 years. Time flies. Yeah, it does. And it's fun, ain't it? We're all getting closer to the grave day by day. Someday you will be a spooky skeleton. DT, hi Sticks, you had cats before marrying and moving to the Netherlands. Are those cats your wife's, or did you bring them with you when you moved? I understand why you rehomed that one cat. No hate from California. The cats from Rutland are still in Rutland, because they're not technically my cats anyway. They're my parents' cats. They're the ones that got them. Picture of telephone. I wonder if Ron DeSantis balls wear high heels too. Yeah, somebody should make an AI image with him with like dress shoes with really high heels dangling off of his testicle region. John Diamond, good morning, Sticks. You say you are not a Christian, but you are more Christ-like than most Christians I know, especially how you always say Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, that's the proper moniker for Jesus Christ, so I'm going to say it. Yeah, I mean, I have respect for the basic premise of Christianity, properly interpreted. I would say a lot of Christians, so-called, tend to misinterpret it, though. They think that their salvation comes from going to a physical structure and saying a few prayers, mumbling to themselves and genuflecting. I don't think that's what Jesus had in mind. I don't think that Jesus Christ had that in mind. I think he wanted you to, and he commanded you to, go out and help the poor, go out and help the widows, be kind, be neighborly, fucking get along, don't shoot each other. How fucking hard is that? Christians would be the best people in the world if they lived up to Christianity. The problem is that the average Christian doesn't live up to that doctrine. It's churchianity. By the way, I actually agree with some of the most fundamentalist Christians on this topic, although I would say that their mystic understanding may be a little bit lacking. Sir Link, Aid Desan wanted to be liked. All he had to do, I think you mean Desantis, was say, try to jail Trump and I'll pardon him if I win. He would have been hailed as a hero and said, now a zero. Actually, he basically has. One of his pitches is, hey, you elect me and Donald Trump will go free. But it's not working. People don't want to elect him because of some issues. Toxic Mix. I'm fairly convinced Christie is the one running interference for Trump and Vivek is the saboteur. The reverse is too obvious. Haley seems only concerned with war and DeSantis isn't making his own decisions. Again, I will neither confirm nor deny, but I do know there is a saboteur in the GOP race and there is somebody who is anti-Trump but is secretly in support of him. I won't say who. It's basically the Omarosa of this cycle. Aussie's Robots, regarding your tweet and algorithmic censorship, I've often wondered what a lawsuit with full discovery would uncover. There are many obvious shenanigans. Wouldn't uncover anything because it'd be tossed out. Google simply has too much money. Sir Link, why do you think the U.S. has obligations to defend foreign nations? NATO, why is Europe my problem? Why should we pay? They should develop their own defense. Well, they do. And the flip side is if the U.S. ever gets shit, all of those nations have to defend the United States. It's reciprocal in nature. I have no problem with NATO. It just needs to be overhauled in its management and restructured some. The concept of joining a military alliance, I deviate from like the ANCAPs and so forth on. I do not have a problem with it. Anyway, so DeSantis has basically fucked himself. Let's see. Where the hell did I leave off on the live streams over on Rumble? Let's try and see if we can find it. Sarkmihoff, been watching you on and off since 2015. Not going to lie, I used to like the drug review videos you used to post. Yeah, I've actually got those on BitChute and Rumble. And on BitChute, they're in a playlist, I believe. I can't put them on YouTube anymore. They'd be verboten. JMonty0071, here's some advice for voters. If you have to ask your representative or senator to become a millionaire, or how they became rather a millionaire, you should not be voting for them. Ironically, that would exonerate Elizabeth Warren, of all people. King of Biltong. Biltong is cured in air-dried meat. Jerky has been raised in temperature, so basically cooked. That is our resident Biltong vendor, of course, over there. Biltong. Anton's USA. For some reason, I seem to have lost some chats over here. Just a second. Again, Rumble, like, I love you, dude, but please get your chat in order, because there's something wrong here. Wasted Bonehead, good morning from the grave. Pepe Payne, brother, that's why I keep my prediction that Trump goes indie. You keep dismissing it, yet keep talking about brokered convention. Trump going indie will complete the destruction of the Uniparty. No, I believe that there's a 99% chance that they buckle down and support him. What you will probably see at the convention is a bunch of neocons don't show up or are visibly disturbed with the fact that Trump is the nominee. A few of them might give speeches and say, well, I don't agree with the Mitch McConnell voice here. I don't agree with this decision necessarily, but the people have spoken, or something like that. They'll try to throw him under the bus. I'm not naive. I know that these unipartyists are going to try to do that. I'm well aware of that fact. Wasted Bonehead Sticks, I condemn the government for existing. How dare they? How dare you? G-Phaser, first ever super chat on Rumble. That is all. Well, thank you anyway. Yeah, for some weird reason, Rumble's still having a fucking problem over there. I don't know what the fucking problem is. I hate this shit. I'm tired of this shit. The bonus holes. Christians are the Mormons of Judaism. Change my mind. Also, follow us, X, at the bonus holes. Highleaf 11. Well, it seems the SCP Foundation fails to contain the Christmas song lady, and now she is lose again. Have you heard the SCP files at all? And if so, what is your favorite SCP? I don't exactly know what you're referring to, actually. My apologies. It's probably some sort of inside joke that I'm just drawing a blank on. Nick Meischer. DeSantis destroyed his chances by becoming I can't use that term, a golem, we'll use that term, for Trump haters. He should have supported Trump and waited for 4 years. I didn't have a problem with him getting in. It's just, you got to get back out when it's clear you can't win. Ozzy's Robots. A lawsuit in a deep red state would be tossed? Yeah, probably. Just because it's a red state doesn't mean that the judge is deep red, of course. Now we've got to talk about ABC News. They were whining, they're bitching and complaining the other day on Twitter. And so I've got their post archived, of course. By the way, there is a link to my books blog. I released another book yesterday, Curiosities of Olden Times. You will probably like it if you like folklore, history, or any permutation of weird stuff. Sabine Baring Gould's Curiosities of Olden Times is spectacular. I haven't made the blog post for it yet. You can watch my video that I uploaded earlier, or just take that link and peruse around if you're into other stuff of an occult or paranormal nature, or any weird history. Herbal medicine is there. That's alchemy. I've got like 30 alchemical texts, original sources that I've edited. So if you're interested in the study of anything remotely related to magic, love the fucking books blog there. And I thought that was a good one. But the other link in the description. A year after Elon Musk bought Twitter, X is now a worthless platform. Some say is no longer safe for activists. And I was thinking to myself, okay, activists. You mean like Schellenberger and people like that were reporting on the Twitter files? Oh, no, that's not what we mean. We mean people that want to badmouth the site and lock down information to prevent it from spreading to the public because we want lies by omission or structure or something like that. That's what ABC News has in mind. Basically, ABC News, which has gotten massively ratioed on this, just like Salon did, only to a lesser degree, is pissed about the fact that users on X, formerly Twitter, I still call it Twitter because I'm old school, are capable of fact-checking them, number one. They're capable of getting more airtime for analyzing shitty news stories than the original news story, because the news stories don't deserve to have any airtime because they fucking suck, number two. And number three, that the people that are all doing this aren't under contract. They're independent voices. Like for myself, I take money from no PAC. I take money from no corporation. I take money from no religious entity. I take money from no government. I take money from only you. The people out there that are watching this video, you're super chatting, you're giving me money. People who donate to me on Patreon or Subscribestar give me money. People who buy my books give me money. I am at complete leisure to rip apart any goddamn legacy media outlet story that I see because I don't have any master other than the people that are listening to my material in the first place. That's what ABC News is pissed about. They're pissed about the fact that a person can have thousands or tens or even hundreds of thousands of people watching them basically do the equivalent of taking a newspaper and ripping it in half. Of course, ABC News doesn't have a newspaper. Or taking the cable box, taking the fucking television, smashing it with a goddamn hammer. And they'll get more views than the original broadcast did. They're pissed. They're whining about it. They're salty because they're losing. And I love this. Activist. So what, ABC, what's your definition of an activist? I think that I'm an activist because I help to unskew your shitty news reporting and tell people the actual truth. And I'm willing to take the time to look through the article very carefully from top to bottom and parse it apart and say, yeah, there's 3 lies in this article. Here's a detail that was omitted. Lie by omission. This detail is important, but you put it in paragraph 6 because you don't want people to know that it's even a detail. That's a lie by structure. Oh, and here's a total black lie because this statistic you used isn't even fucking true. They hate the fact that I can do that. They hate the fact that you can do that. They're really pissed at Elon Musk because he's helping other people do that. And Twitter isn't even fully, it's not new tech. It's an older site. It comes from fucking 2000s. The site has only half-assedly reverted its own censorship, and look how pissed they are at it. This is why they had so many rounds of combat against BitChute, against Gab, against Rumble.com, and all of these other fucking minds they were making articles about. Substack. They still have a stick up their ass about Substack from time to time. Thousands of people follow my Substack. I know that instantaneously, I write an article, I put it on there, thousands of people will read it, and many of them will like it. And it can really help to get around all the blockage on a mainline media, number one, which you have to fact check, and lamestream tech, number two. Oh, they're so pissed about it. Oh, I find it so fucking funny. This is great, actually. It's good that they're mad because they deserve it. Highly Phil Levin, look up the SCP Foundation and its lore. I think you will like it. All right. I'll put that off to the side. Maybe it's worth mentioning in a video or something like that. Let's see. So many super chats in between rants. James Flowers, SCPs are short-form creepypasta wiki entries about governments and scientists blackbagging the boogeyman, Bigfoot, and Santa. Well, I'll have to look that up. Pumpkin Fire Crafts. Good morning, sticks and clankers. Get your spoons and clank along. New designs available. Yes, there is a link in the description cross-platform to Pumpkin Fire Crafts. We've got all sorts of good shit available, including spoons, of course. They have the little Ouroboros on them for a reason. Then you can enjoy clanking with that collectible while you're drinking your morning coffee. Don't worry, we don't discriminate against people who drink tea as well. You drink tomato juice, you're just like me, so I won't discriminate against you for that either. Some people think that we're weird. I think we're geniuses. Sparky. Vivek is the establishment plant. He and his buddy Pete Buttigieg appeared together as questioners at a town hall a few presidential elections ago. Saw the video clip on Sabby Sab's show. Miss Smiles. SCP is Zoomer literature. Check it out. My son loves it. I like them as well when he shows me some of them. Now, why am I only just hearing about this? Ozzy's Robots. Remember, ABC is owned by uber woke Disney. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge surprise, of course. By the way, please send no more super chats because, I mean, again, I have to cook burgers later. By the way, I'm making my delicious homemade hamburgers. The fries, I'm not making home fries. I just got a bag of the curly fries because everyone loves them anyway. So I figured it's good enough. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's in Roanoke, Texas. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on www.landofbiltong.com and www.antonsusa.com. Anyone received and tried their ghost pepper Wagyu? Any feedback? Probably it's fucking delicious. I can't wait to try it, but I mean, you can't ship to Europe. It's a big problem. Wasted, you should smuggle some in. Wasted Bonehead, Razor Fist, NATO stole my Pop-Tart. Anyway, that's about it. Send puppies for cash at twighexenmallet.com. God fucking speed. Matt G. Hammond, Trump should release a video mixing 2020 ballot dumps and Connecticut town ballot dumps with the judge admitting there were issues. Yeah, I talked about that this morning in an exclusive over there in Connecticut. They had a primary election, Dem mayor election, and Bridgeport was tossed by a judge because of ballot stuffing. And I pointed out this morning how funny that was because I was told that that sort of thing could never happen. I was told that often after 2020. Next news story. 2020 debate claims are coming back to haunt Biden as GOP probes into Hunter swirl. Lie, deny, counter-accuse. Yeah, you remember the time that Joe Biden unequivocally told the American people and was backed up by the FBI and the legacy media and big tech, by the way, Hunter didn't get no money from China. Never happened. That's a bullshit lie. It was made up by Russians and by the evil Orange Man campaign. Well, I mean, he got money from a Chinese investment company to the tune of over $500,000. The fact is that Joe Biden unequivocally and knowingly lied to the American people. He should be considered disqualified for even being the president of the United States. He should be out on his goddamn ass now for this. But the people, unfortunately, have forgotten about that whole fracas years ago with the Twitter files, with the Hunter Biden laptop. You remember the time that the entire government, legacy media, and big tech all colluded together to lie to the entire public? Unfortunately, there are people with so much cognitive dissonance, they don't even give a shit that they were lied to. But they were, but they won't even admit to it. It's difficult to admit that you were taken in by lies. Oh, I was fooled? Ah, shit, now I look like a screwball. I better not admit to that. I better double down and pretend that I wasn't lied to. or that it doesn't matter. Well, it was just a fib. No, this is not a fib. This is Joe Biden lied to the American public about his business dealings and his son's business dealings over the course of the better part of a decade. It's disqualifying, but it's not seen that way by a lot of people in the public. They either have partisan loyalty or for some bizarre, odd, unknown reason, they actually approve of the job that Joe Biden's doing. Although I don't think those people are actually very common. Where is America? Election shenanigans, North-South America border erasure, judicial weaponization, or WHO gaining control through health treaty. What's the worst issue? Arguably judicial weaponization in the end, because the judiciary can oversee elements of elections, number one. As far as the WHO being able to do anything domestically, that would be judicial in nature. There could be court challenges and so forth. And they can oversee border policy to an extent as well, with regards to the legality of attempts to fix the border. So I would say judicial bullshit. Big boy, happy Friday, Sticks. You the man. Thank you. Again, though, please don't send any more super chats because I do have one more story to get to. I have a super chat over here as well. Matt G. Hammond. Should Trump have a rally in New York City saying he will deport illegals, close the border, and dismantle the FBI who is trying to imprison Mayor Eric Adams? That would be a God move, yes. He should do that. Will he? Probably not. And the Desantis fans have come out, oh my God, he's supporting Mayor Adams, the far-left Democrat mayor of New York City. Clearly Donald Trump is a liberal. You know it. You know they would immediately come out and dogpile him, even if it was self-evidently obvious why he was making the statement. Abso-goddamn-fucking-lutely. Haley's people would probably do the same thing. And the final news story, Arizona teacher on leave after dressing up as the devil and telling students, Hail Satan. A student complained to his dad, who reported the situation to the principal. Just another piece of evidence of why I am anti-religious. You sound exactly like a left-wing, pink-haired freak Karen spurging out about somebody's costume because you thought it was sexist. Oh my God, or racist. You dressed as a vampire? Well, that's not actually a Romanian, so that's cultural appropriation. Oh my God, you put on a sombrero and have some maracas. You're clearly ridiculing Mexican people or people from the Hispanic world in general. Oh my God, you dressed as a pirate? Well, that's a reference to Somalians. You dressed in too sexy a costume, that's, gender ableism. I'm sure that they'll invent that term at some point. You dressed in a costume that wasn't flashy enough, well then, there's always going to be a problem, no matter what the fuck you do, basically. This is the same thing. The fact that some Christian student said to their parent, well, the teacher was dressed as Satan and saying, Hail Satan, that's offensive to me. Fuck you. It's a Halloween costume. No, the teacher's been put on leave. Okay, you put on little red horns that you can buy at the fucking dollar store, and you had like the plastic pitchfork. Who cares? And apparently the actual explanation was there was basically like I guess they call it, the theme was dynamic duos, and the teacher next door was in an angel costume. So, but the student only had a problem with one. Well, under the graven image doctrine, really, you should have a problem with the angel costume too. Stop being a little pissant. Stop being a pussy. They probably just didn't like the teacher and decided to complain about it to start some sort of fucking suit or something like that. Dressing as the very cartoonish, horned, pitchfork-waving imp of a devil that is, for some reason, actually believed in by some people. Come on. Don't we have goddamn bigger problems as a society? Again, it's just like when you see those little posters or billets, and they post them online every October now, by leftoids that are saying, don't have a problematic Halloween costume. And they've got like the laundry list of racist, sexist, or otherwise ableist or whatever. Like you're not allowed to dress as the the zombie, because that's ableism. Because a zombie, well, you could interpret that as a person with a severe physical deformity or something. Literally everything. You're not allowed to be a witch because of the witch trials. You're not allowed to be a vampire. You're not allowed to be a pirate. You're not allowed to be the sombrero person, the mariachi person or whatever. Well, what can you still dress as? You can't dress as a ghost because then you're ridiculing Democratic Party voters. This is the same goddamn thing. Here in the Netherlands, hey, fellow Americans, can I tell you something? Here in the Netherlands, out in public every single year, a bunch of people put on blackface and wander through the streets. You do not have to be woke. It is culturally acceptable in many parts of the world to not be woke. In fact, the United States is uniquely targeted by this bullshit. If anything, studying other cultures and living at least in one, I've learned that wokeness is effectively a communist subversion unique to the United States and Canada. That's the long and short of it. They are the only countries that are being targeted in this manner. Other people, you've got Hitler ice cream in India. You've got fucking Nazi-themed restaurants in fucking, what was it? I think it was Thailand. You've got crazy shit all over the world. We do not need to be woke. We can tell these people to simply fuck off. Go ahead and dress as the devil. Oh, but you're a school teacher. You might offend someone. Well, fuck you and your offense. Who cares? That's not even the biblical Satan. It's an imp. It's a devil, but it's not the devil. It's not even a proper depiction of the devil according to the goddamn Bible. Nobody cares in the end. Yeah. To Andy, come on. If you're saying Hail Satan while you're dressed as the devil, what's the problem? That's like saying if they said, well, God bless you while dressed as the angel, nobody would really have a problem with that. If they were pretending that they had a problem with it, they would be pretending. Nobody complained about the angel teacher, I noticed. Only the demon teacher. I mean, these are students that are old enough to have thick enough skin. They shouldn't really worry about that. They saw 5 other Satans trick-or-treating later that night. I think there's no problem with this. Anyway, I think that I'm going to go offline. At some point, I've got to start those fucking hamburgers. I thank you to the 4,500 people that tuned in live. And guess I'll dress as Satan for next Halloween. This Halloween, I'm just going as Justiciar for the Thalmor Embassy, I suppose. It's kind of a low-rent costume idea since I dress like this literally every day anyway. But I'll be back to talk about more crazy shit. I mean, every weekend crazy shit drops. You can't even keep up with it. At some point, we're going to have at least one more major character dropping out of the GOP primaries. We've got all sorts of crazy shit with Gaza, etc. The news docket gets so overloaded that it's kind of hard for me to keep up at the moment. And that's after making an additional video every day. I used to do 3 videos a day. Now it's 4. I'm still having problems getting to them all. And then sometimes 5 or 6 of the news stories are basically interrelated. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I got to scratch the bottom of the barrel. I've got to go to msnbc.com or something like that. So, yeah, it'll be all good. We'll be going live again. Get your biltong, get your pumpkin fire crafts, and have a good afternoon. Or, well, it's still early morning for many of you watching. So have a good morning. Clank on with the caffeine. You'll need it. That's about all. Peace out.